Trixon Orange Sparkle cocktail set that I purchased a little while back. Would have seen that with the last video that I had. The heads were all clear plastic heads. These were the stock standard heads that Trixon supplied with the kit. I decided, because the sound wasn't really that great, I went and replaced all the heads, the top heads at least, and I've just put in Remo coated ambassadors for the 8-inch snare drum, with a 10-inch tom. That's also a coated ambassador. Floor tom's a little bit of a different proposition. What it is, it's a coated Emperor head, and the bottom head, which gives the bass drum sound, I've replaced that with a pinstripe. Now, what was a little silly about with this is that they manufacture this with a 15-inch head, and I don't know what it's like over there in, say, other countries, but in Australia it is a little hard to get 15-inch diameter tom heads and so forth. So I was very lucky to have actually sort of scored not only a nice coated Emperor head on the top, but also a pinstripe on the bottom. And with fitting these heads, what I did was I put a muffle ring, not on the outside, you know, like one of those O-rings, and just leaving it resting on the head. I actually taped an O-ring on the inside of the head. So you've got the head sitting here, here's the O-ring, I just taped it on the inside. The reason being is, another thing I like to do is to do brushes, you know. Need to work on my brushes a bit. But yeah, with those sort of sweeps, you need to have a nice big, wide sort of sweep like that. It's really hard to do that sort of thing if you've got like an O-ring on that. And that's sort of the same problem with snares on normal sort of kits. So I went for that, and for the bottom head, with the pinstripe head, I put the muffling strip on the inside. So here's the shell, and I put the strip here, put the head on there. So I fitted the bottom head on first and got that reasonably tuned, and then I took another muffling O-ring and dropped it in so that it rested in on the bottom head. Whilst once that's fallen down there, I then put the coated Emperor head up on top, the O-ring already sort of taped to it, and just did a little bit of tweaking around and so forth. The stock standard cymbals that were here, I replaced the ones that they had. They were made by a company called Fissaggi. I've never really sort of heard of those guys before. And I just put in some Paistes. This is just an old Paiste that I scored quite a while back. It's the Formula 602 Ride Crash 15-inch. It's got a really nice bell sound, which is great for like all that sort of stuff. Same time, really nice crash quality. A little bit loud for a crash, but that isn't too bad. And so, you know, not too bad. The stock standard hi-hat cymbals that they have here, which are really very sort of thin, splashy, kind of like cymbals, I just replaced with my my little unusual Paiste rude splash on top, bell on the bottom hi-hat combination. Still kept the same stock standard cowbell that comes with these sets. Okay, this isn't too bad. And you'll notice I've got one of these guys. This is a Yamaha Cascara Wedge, and that way I don't ruin the nice, really gorgeous kind of like orange sparkle that these sets have, and by playing like Cascara on the shell over here, so I'm going to do that sort of thing. So that's why I got that. Plus, gives me a rim shot. So yeah, so she's a nice little set, okay. And now with the cymbals and the new heads, and hopefully the tuning's now starting to sound a little bit better. One thing I noticed with playing the bass drum, particularly with doing something like that with a cross stick, with having this Cascara Clavé Wedge, because you've got to kind of have your hand on the head to get that sort of cross stick sound, like a normal cross stick sound, like that. By having your hand here, and even without the Cascara Clavé Wedge, this is my only little gripe with cocktail sort of sets. When I don't have my hand on the head, okay, like if I bury the beater in, it's got that kind of sound. If I don't bury the beater, it's not too bad. It's like a kind of an open sort of kick sort of sound. As soon as you've got your hand over here, well, the whole dynamic changes. So that's why I think sometimes burying the beater in can be sort of beneficial. Got the wedge back over here, so we get this nice little cross stick sound. It seems to cut a little bit better. Thanks for listening.